when Damola reached out to me about this video, I was like, oh, let's talk about this subject. I'm like, see, the summary of the subject is I don't want to do celibate. You are tired. Let's go and end this. And I remember that there was a time, you know, that I went to visit 2 guys for the first time. I mean, we have been talking online. I think that was the days of like BBM and all of that. And even though we did not have sex, like I kissed those 2 guys that I met on the same day.
Balaji, you've not told us this story.
See, let me tell you, Damara prepared, because before I joined this meeting, before I joined this call,
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ayadele Fash. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. For a new subscriber, you know I love you, you know I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always coming back. Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Unashamed with Victoria Fash. Yes, if you missed the last episode, trust me, you missed a whole lot. Okay, you need to go and watch where I had the conversation with Miriam and she talked to us about, you know, her abstinence journey. Yeah, so go and watch that video. Anyway, so today I am so excited. Okay, the person I have on the channel today, most of you guys have already heard about that plenty on this channel. I'm sure if you know any of my friends, you know Balaji, you know Christy. Okay, today is Balaji. Very soon Christy is coming on the channel. Okay, so today Balaji is actually one of my oldest friends. We've been friends for 9 years now.
hey.
Yes, my dear, you need to be paying me subscription because the things that I've done in your life, the way I've helped your life so far, it's not easy to be 9 good years. Anyways, we've been friends for that long, so I'm super excited to have her on this channel, especially because you guys have heard so much about her. She and Christy has, especially Balaji, they've been, and Christy, because Christy will come and say, I say especially Balaji, both of them. They've been very instrumental in my journey, you know, towards having a closer relationship with God. If Christy comes here, she will talk. I'm sure when she comes, she will talk about how Balaji used to police us around. Quiet time. Balaji used to be the person we used to look up to, you know. And I'm really glad because, yeah, those are friends. This is a friend that I'm very proud to say anywhere that she's my friend. But before I talk too much, anyways, I've talked too much. I've introduced, I heard this swelling. By the way, she's single. If you have any decent religious Christian, you know, brother that is said is correct, send them my way. My contact is in the description box below. Anyways, Balaji, please tell us a little bit about yourself before we go on.
Okay, hi everybody. So nice to be here. As Damola, as Victoria said, my name is.
You can call me anything.
Sorry, don't be
They know my name. Most of them call me Damola, so it's fine.
Awesome. So as Damola said, my name is Balaji. If you are like a friend from like way back, you probably call me Balaji. But if it's like from last few years, it's Mo Balaji or Mo. And a little bit about me. I got saved in my first year in uni, in a dormitory room of one of my friends. I went to visit her and I got saved in her room, in 100 level. And then what else? I am a marketing.
That's not the full story now.
That's not,
she got saved through a post on Twitter. Yes.
So the story is very interesting. But because you said introduce yourself, so I'm like giving just like you know, bits of my story.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I got saved. I mean, I will be 10 years in Christ this December. I plan to like do a whole like birthday. You know, it's not beans. So
it's not beans something.
It's not beans. It's not beans. So that's it about like my salvation. For work, I'm a marketing professional. I'm in a startup. I moved to the UK in February 2023, and yeah, I've known Damola for almost 10 years, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you here too. By the way, Mubalaji's channel will also be linked in the description box below, so if you guys want to, you know, go to her channel. She talks a lot about her faith journey. She also is an author. I don't know why she did not say that. Balaji has written 2 books. I will also put them linked in the description box below. One of those books, my story is in it, so yeah, go and watch. Go and, you know, she wrote one, I think the first one is How I Met God on Twitter, right? Yeah, and then the second one was is Letters to Our Father, which is the one that one of my story featuring. But yeah, that was interesting. So anyways, I've known you for a while, so obviously I know a lot, especially I know you after you got saved, even though I've heard bits and bits of the Agberu life you used to live before Christ came to drag you. Because before Christ came into your life. So to be honest, you know, you were really one of those people that, you know, when I used to have boyfriends then, when we just started getting to know each other, I used to be like, you know, when we're about to like do stuff, I'd be like, if Balaji hear that something like this happen now, she will not let us hear one. Because when Balaji carried God, she carried God on her head. Everybody around her knew that Balaji carried God. But yeah, our friendship journey, this is not the conversation for it, because that was a journey on its own. But anyways, I wanted us to have this conversation to talk about, you know, your journey, you know, since you met Christ, abstinence, celibacy, and all of that. I know that this is something that we talk a lot about in our conversation. We have a group chat where we, you know, yesterday we talked for like 4 hours, the three of us, just talking about our life. And you know, and we have those calls like every week, so that's, you know, good for us. We usually have like prayer times and all of that. So I just wanted you to come to the channel to share a little bit, because I know, you know, we talk about this all the time, and I know sometimes we make jokes about it, like how difficult it is the older you get to remain, you know, to be abstaining, to remain, you know, celibate, and remain pure and holy for Christ, keeping yourself, whilst also trying to, you know, get a relationship, you know, dates, and, you know, be serious about, you know, settling down and all of that. And I know how tough that could be. And I know you even made a post on your Instagram. She actually makes a lot of interesting content, funny content on Instagram. I'll leave them linked in the description box below. But if you don't mind just walking us through that, you know, how did that start? When did you decide that this is something that I wanted to do? And how did that journey, how has it been so far?
I mean, everything started, to be honest, when I got saved. So one thing I noticed, and something I say a lot about, you know, being born again, is the miracle of changed desires, right? So before I got saved, I noticed that the things I used to do, right? I mean,
you do them no more.
Just to give, like, because sometimes people see me now and they're like, it's very cocoa, but I mean, sometimes it helps to share like where we're coming from. And I remember that there was a time, you know, that I went to visit 2 guys for the first time. I mean, we had been talking online. I think that was the days of like BBM and all of that. And even though we did not have sex, like, I kissed those 2 guys that I met on the same day.
Balaji, you've not told us this story.
See, let me tell you, Damara, prepared, because before I joined this meeting, before I joined this call, Jare, something that happens to me before I join calls sometimes is like, I ask Holy Spirit, what do you want me to share? And to be honest, something that he put on my mind for this video, he was like, be honest, like, be open,
exclusive.
So I'm probably going to be sharing some things that even Damara did not know, right?
Okay,
and that's one of it. Yeah, so I mean, that was the kind of person I was before I got saved. But after I got saved, one of the things I noticed that, you know, immediately started in my life was I had this desire to read my Bible. Before, my Bible would just be like catching dust, you know, on one shelf and all that. So I started to read my Bible more. And reading my Bible more, it just helped me to know like my identity, who I was in Christ, all of that. And from there, like, my desire to, you know, explore, to, because for some background info, I left Nigeria to Ghana to school, and honestly, my thought was, finally, I have independence. Hey,
okay.
Or a highlight for anybody that wants to be looking at my life. But I mean, God now went to go and get me saved in 100 levels so that I will not go and do rubbish. But then, like, after I got saved, that's where like all of this celibacy thing started. I knew, you know, the word of God and what God says about like sex before marriage, and how like it is honorable in marriage and all that. So since that time up until now, like, it has not always been easy or rosy. I mean, I've dated people in the last 10 years that have been saved that we have made out, right? We've kissed, but we've not had sex, right? And yeah, so But it has not been easy. That's the summary of it. It has not been easy, and even till now,
okay.
I mean, I look forward to having sex, but for now, we are closing shop.
Shop is closed. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I love that you actually even mentioned about, you know, the things that you did, because if me I start to talk, okay, you know, many of us, and I always say it on my channel, that a lot of us that come out to say, oh, you know, virgin and all of this, if they really check us, the only thing we did not do, the only thing we didn't do, you know. So and I know how tough, you know, that can be, and you've spoken a little bit about it, but talk about, like, you know, how has it affected your dating life? Like, you know, when you meet a person, has it ever been a factor when you meet a person and they're like, oh, I beg, I don't want to be with this person? Or has it even been a reason why you yourself have not been really upfront about relationship and all of that? Like, how has that been for you?
I mean, the first things first, I actually don't date people that are not Christian, like, not even Christian, people that are not born again. I don't bother. Because I feel like it would be too much. How will I do it? It would be too much hard work to be trying to convince somebody that we cannot do this until marriage, right? So for I mean, as I said earlier, in the past 10 years that I've gotten saved, I think I've dated just about 2 people. Wow. In that time frame. Okay. Yeah, I dated 2 people before I got saved, 2 people after I got saved. So in that time frame, I mean, we had conversations about things that we would do and things that we would not do. We are not allowed to do, you know, while dating until we get married. So it has not really been an issue, because I'm very intentional about the type of people that I can date, the type of people that God approves of, right, for me to date. So it sort of makes it easier that once we're together, we just already know we are aligned that this is a no-go area.
Okay, so being intentional about the people that you even date to begin with. Okay, that's interesting, right? That's interesting. But we also know that, you know, sometimes, you know, even Apostle Paul say, the things I don't want to do, they are the things that I find myself doing. And you know, a story is popping in my head. Because the next question I want to ask is, like, how do you deal with lust? And I know that, you know, I remember when we were in school, how we had lust. Or one guy, let me tell you this gist. So apparently there is this guy in our church, okay, that, you know, that I liked at the time. I didn't even know then, because I don't even think I liked him before me and Balaji became friends. That, you know, when you have lust, you know, with someone, and then from afar you just feel like me and this guy will be perfect. So me and B became friends. Mo, we call her plenty things. We shall became friends, and then I got to know that she also kind of has a crush on the same guy. And one day we just closed from school, and I think we're going home. I don't know if we're going, I think we're going to church actually. It was in the evening, I can't remember. I know we're going somewhere. We shall entered Trotro. Trotro is what we call, if you're a Ghanaian here, let me know in the description, in the comment section. Trotro is what they call buses. Danfo is equals to Danfo in Nigeria, only that it looks better than most Danfos in Nigeria. Yeah. Anyway, so so I entered, I was sitting at the back, Balaji was in front of me, and then all of a sudden this guy entered into the Trotro with us. So immediately he entered. You know, when you have a crush on somebody, you know, then now when you are still young and the blood is free, you know, it's still in your body. I was already, you know, your heart is already beating fast. So at least for me, that was what was going on. So I pitched Balaji for her to notice her. So Balaji was like, but you know what you do now when you see your crush, you still behave like, you know, consign me, I don't really know him, you know, and all of that. So we're both trying to be like, to be normal, even though, you know, butterfly was flowing in her belly. And then I think we gave the mates. So mates is equals to conductor in Nigeria. So in buses, cannot explain, go and check your dictionary. So we gave the mates money, and the mate was about to give us the change. The next thing that Balaji, so I think he didn't give us our change, and Balaji wanted to ask the mates, okay, mates, give me my change. The next thing Balaji would say is, mates, give me my number. You people, you need to be there to know how funny this story was. It was so embarrassing because the guy was there, and if you know Balaji's voice, as you are, Balaji's voice is not hard to dictate. If Balaji is speaking in the crowd, you will know it's Balaji's voice because she has this voice that you people are hearing. Anyway, so that was funny. That was funny, and of course we got over that. We are way over that. But so the question I have is, that's just to show you guys that as Christians, because you are a Christian does not mean that you are like immune from lust. You are not immune from feeling urges and all of that. So when it comes to the issue of lust, how are you able to like deal with it? Because sometimes you cannot help it. The heart wants what the heart wants, like they always say. You are attracted to who you are attracted to. When you see something you like, and especially you see, Balaji know how to spot fine boys. Every time we're together, who is that boy? He's a fine boy. How do you deal with whether it is lust, whether it is attraction? How do you, how do you deal with that?
How do I deal with it? So I would share like what I feel like has worked for me, like the practical things that I feel like has worked for me. And it will be being very, very, very strict with what I watch, what I listen to, where I go, right? I mean, it's not always easy. I'll still share like parts where sometimes I just feel like I'm done. This waiting, it's not for me anymore, right? But I would say how I deal with loss is obviously like, you have to read your Bible, pray, all of those things. But if you also do not like back that up with what I said about like being strict with what I watch and all that, it would, I don't know, it would just be hard. So for me, there are some movies that maybe if I go to a friend's house, I can, if they are watching the series, sometimes I try not to be like weird and go into the room and, close my eyes. Even though if it's very bad, I can do that, to be honest. But if it's like something that is still okay, but still has like maybe like some, explicit scenes and all that, I might still watch it. But on my own, I generally am strict with movies I watch. There are some things that, for example, in the past few months there have been so many movies that have come out of Nigeria that people will just talk about and hail and all that, or not even in Nigeria generally. But when I start to see like people tweeting, there was this scene, there was that, I just don't bother because I know myself, right? So to help me to combat, is that the word? Yeah. To just help me to like, to be very, very mindful and not fall into sin. I don't watch some things, I don't listen to some songs, I don't go to some places because like my desire, and it's because I started doing that because I noticed that when I do those things my desire increases. So I have to always like be practical, because this Christianity is not just, hey, God is Babaloke, Almighty somewhere. It is a practical lifestyle, right? It's things that we have to do every day that then confirm that we are believers of Christ. So those are ways that I try to deal with lust.
That's good, because I know that especially with Balaji, when we are recommending movies, we don't even, me and Christy, we don't bother, but not that we watch explicit movies, but like even the ones that are not explicit, if it's not Mount Zion movie or movie that God, they mention God inside the movie, Balaji will not watch. And I like that because everybody's threshold is different, right? There are movies that I watch, it will not move me, okay, because I don't know, I'm able to like put my body under subjection like that, right? For somebody else it's even worse, right? But for her, she knows herself, she knows what triggers her, and she's able to like desist from those things, right? So I think that's actually a very good point, especially if you're wondering why every time it's like every time your body is always in the high. Maybe you should be checking what you put. You need to be very, very careful of those things. And I really love that you addressed that. But I'm talking also about when there's somebody, especially when it comes to like dealing with attraction. Okay, let's talk about have you ever been in that situation where you see this person, like the example that we give? Of course that's a long time, and that was when we were a child, we acted like a child, we thought like a child. Now we are an adult, but are you really you like, because for me personally, when I say person, then before I got married, okay, now I don't like it, it's only my husband I like. So focus. When when I see a person I like, this thing of, you know, thinking about, you know, how we'll be together, being in a home together. Sometimes when I sleep, I imagine things about them and all of those things. And you know, there are things, there's a way that affect us and affect our body, affects, you know, our minds and all of that. And I love that you spoke about renewing of your mind and all of that. But how are you able to? Because I know that, you know, and I know we talk about this in our private conversations about when you get to a certain age and how difficult it is to control, you know, the drive, because it's like it's more, it's just taking over you and all of that, right? How has that been for you, you know, in that aspect? The way you are laughing,
I don't know, I'm laughing. Okay, so as the mama said, there is something about me and fine boys that God has to deliver me from. Right?
We are still prayer fasting on that. You should join us in prayer.
And trust me, I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, everybody's made in the image of God, but there are just some guys that I see, I'm like, this guy is fresh, right? And somehow those are the people that, you know, I used to fall for, right? So I mean, that happens, you know. And even now, when I see people that are fine, I acknowledge it. I don't think there's a problem with saying that that guy is fine. But what I now try to do that I didn't used to do before was I would try to get into that person's space in one way or the other so that they could notice me. Right? Or so that, I don't know, something we shall have a conversation and maybe we start dating, right? But now when I see those fine boys, I just acknowledge it that this man is fine, right? But I don't also want to keep, you know, because when you learn, like you've done it a couple of times in the past and it did not result in anything sensible, so why keep doing that, right? So for my loss, when I see a fine guy, I acknowledge it. Sometimes I might follow him on Instagram or whatnot to just stalk him small, right? But after that, I don't take those things seriously where, you know, I can now start maybe liking all your images or send a DM. Not DM as in come and date me, but like maybe reply your story, just giving hints. Right? So right now, that's what I try to do. I try not to go after that attraction. I acknowledge the attraction and just leave it there. But it's not always easy, to be honest, because I mean, as I was telling you, when Damola reached out to me about this video, I was like, oh, let's talk about this subject. I'm like, see, the summary of the subject is I don't want to do celibate. You are tired, let's go end this. I don't just say, I mean, there's a joke in that, because as a believer I know that I cannot go and have like random sex. It is only like honorable in marriage, but it is also being real that this is how I am currently feeling, and like it is hard sometimes. You know, there was one time that I literally started saying, well, I used to say, because all these things going on in your body, you have to be, what is going on? Like I had to go and Google, like I Googled, you know, ovulation, just because sometimes understanding your body better also helps you to not feel so bad. So like after reading all of those things, I'm like, okay, so these things are hormones that women go through on a monthly basis. So I shouldn't feel bad that my God literally puts these things there. I shouldn't be feeling bad that my body is feeling like this. But it can be hard. I won't lie. Yeah, so I mean, it can be hard. That's just the summary of it. It can be hard. But I mean, I've lived how many years now? And I'm still here. So it's very possible. But there are days when, I mean, maybe I think most times, like maybe after my period, for example, if I'm ovulating, all of that, it can be tougher. But yeah, God has been good.
I see. Okay, so I think the last question I'll ask is like, if there's anything that you want to like share for Christians who are like, you know, probably in that journey also trying so hard to be, because I know that the journey go easy, because honestly, if we and I know, you know, sometimes what the world always, you know, tell us is, if God did not want you to, why will he give you the desire and all of those things? And you know, it's very crazy, especially now that there's hardly anywhere you go to that you don't find sexual content. Sex is in everything. Sex sells. So everywhere you go to, it's there. Even when you trying to avoid it. It's in the music you are listening to. It is the music that is trending on social media. It is every single place that you go, the books you read, even now for kids. Like it's like a pandemic right now out there, and it can be very, very, you know, crazy, especially now, going through all those things where your body is demanding for those things. And really, if they'll tell you, like I said, you know, why did God give you if God did not want you? The truth is, if we go to the Bible, I don't think it is definitely not part of God's original plan that we stay this long before we got married. Feminism is part of our problem, okay? It's part of the problem why we are in this problem. Most of the issues, even the women, you know, health issues that women deal with, sometimes it's because how long it takes for us, you know, to get married, to have kids and all of that. If you look at the days before, even before our generation, even our parents' days, it wasn't that way. When you are 18, you get married, you do this. But now they've made it seem like if you're not married, if you're not having a career, you cannot be a career woman and be in marriage. It's like the two are always opposing, and it's like we are always constantly searching for, you know, personal growth, personal satisfaction before you can marry. It's like they always tell women you cannot have everything, you know, together. Do you think that has been your own journey? Do you think that has had any impact or influence, you know, on you? Because I know it did on me. Because when my husband came, you know the story. When my husband asked me out, Balaji was the first person I called. Look, hey, there's this man, no, hey, you know, and all of that, right? Because I was scared. I felt like I had not achieved enough in my life, and why will I be? Why am I in a hurry? All my friends, you know, they didn't even have boyfriend at the time. What is the hurry, right? And my husband came telling me that, listen, now marriage, this is what I'm here for. If you are not here for it, let us not waste each other's time. You understand that? So do you think that, you know, that has been a part of your, you know, your journey? Do you think, what is your mindset about it, basically?
I mean, for me, I'm not sure if I have that mindset of, oh, I want to achieve certain things. Maybe years ago, but now, maybe when I was even not yet saved. But I've never really been that person that thought, oh, I have to be so, you know, before I get married. Obviously, I mean, there are still some basic things. I feel like, you know, you should be working, earning something, no matter how little, right, before you start a family. But I don't think I currently have that mindset of, oh, I have to be like top, you know, and the person I want to marry to has to be like, you know, this chairman before, you know, we can come together. So I don't have that mindset. But I think what has happened in the past generation or past few years is that dating and marriage now looks a bit different from how it used to be in our parents' time. Like right now, you know, people are being more, I don't know the word to use, maybe childish, because sometimes, you know, you listen to all these podcasts and a lady will be saying, if a man cannot, you know, this extreme feminism, you know, when like we've been fighting for women's rights, which is fine. So we are now getting to a point where it is becoming toxic hate for men, and that's not what feminism should be about, right? So all of those podcasts, so all of those things, people now have such really, I don't know the word, but a mindset that our parents did not have, right? Our parents had the mindset of, I'm going to build together with this person, right? And we're going to have a beautiful family. But many people these days, if he does not have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of my 10 kinikon list, we're not going ahead. And it's not as if that list is from Christ. So a lot of the people, that list that they've made is just, you know, superficial things that actually cannot even hold a home, right? So I would say it's because like a lot of people are still, you know, unmarried now, because like the dating pool is so different from what it used to be. Even at some point I started to worry that, you know, it's always as if that it is women that are serving the Lord, it's women that go to church. Where am I going to find that man, you know, that is following the Lord, that loves the Lord, that is a priest of the home, that prays and has his own like personal relationship with God? And God was like, I don't know why you are worrying about men. It is one man that you need. So don't worry about, oh, men are this, men are that. So it's one man, and that man of God, you know, is available. When it's time, you know, we would connect. So yeah, I think that's basically is the dating pool, or how dating used to be in our parents' time is so different from now. So I feel like that's why we're seeing the things that we're seeing now.
Okay, I just wanted to mention now, you know, because you talked about, you know, lists, and one thing that I actually learned from you, you know, when we were still friends, you know, I learned a lot from Balaji, honestly. And I know one thing that you used to do. Balaji was the one who taught me how to journal. I actually have my journal here. Sure, this particular journal, she's the one who gave it to me. And I'm still using it till today. Because I'm not I'm sure she have like 20 journal by now. It's the one she gave me since 2019. I'm still using. And you know, it's such a blessing. I learned that from her. And I also know that you also had like this prayer journal for your future husband, where you used to like put prayer. Don't ask me how I know, okay? I know. I've never read, of course. I don't read your journal. And you know we don't do that.
I send my boys over to you.
We know we don't do that. But I think I saw you once writing in it whilst we were talking. So and I know that's something that you practice, right? And you mentioned about, you know, having a list. Do you have a list? Do you have a list with the person that I want? It will be done, that can answer. Because I know you have like prayer as to who you want him to be, character wise, you know, personality wise, values wise, and all of that. What is that like? Can you, you know, share that? What inspired that? And you know, just talk about it.
So I don't remember exactly what inspired it. I think I was listening to a message one day, and the person just talked about, you know, a list and all of that, and it really encouraged me to sort of like put down. I mean, I write, as you said, I journal a lot. I write about my work with God, everything. So I'm like, why can't I do that with, like, you know, this desire as well to marry, right? So I think it was after I watched a message, or I listened to a message, that I was inspired to do that. But I think there was also one time that I listened to another message about like relationship and all, that made me see that the first list I actually created was very superficial. And even though I was born again that time, that list was still filled with a lot of things that honestly are just nice to have, right? So I tore that list up, and then there was another time that I created a list, and I just kept writing. I don't even know, I hope I brought that journal to you, but it has about like 40 or 42 things, right? And when I was done, one thing that I was really surprised about was all of those things, or most of those things that I wrote down, were literally attributes, like character, like godly things, right? How is able to be up to 40 myself, I don't understand. But most of those things are honestly like things that are just related to like a godly man, right? And I think there are some nice to haves there as well,
of course,
should come with the package, right? But I think it was from a message or from something, or divine inspiration. I really don't remember exactly what inspired it.
Okay. All right. So I think the last question I have is, I know that, you know, we are in very sensitive age, that you know there's a time in our life where parents will be like, leave man, don't follow man, focus on your kiniko and all of that. But now we are in that age, everybody's like using style to ask, what is going on now, auntie?
Who told you they are using style?
Now they are coming direct. Talk to me direct. Oh my god. So the question though is like, do you think like, is that your story? Because I know a lot of people talk about pressure to get married. Has that been your story? And has that been like, how does that make you feel if that is part of your, you know, your own story?
So for me, my family, honestly, because I'm the last born, and I still have siblings that are not yet married, so I don't have that pressure that much, right, from my dad and my family, right? But I mean, they still, doesn't mean that they don't bring it up. They bring it up sometimes, and they're like, how far, you know, if you see a man, we can
don't wait for us.
Don't wait, it's married man. Right, so those things come up, but I don't feel pressured. That's the word for my family. It is more
social media,
internal. That's what I was getting there. I would say it's more of an internal, you know, pressure from things that I see online, right? Because obviously, as you said, we're in that age where sometimes I still cannot believe that I have friends that me and you went to secondary school.
Yeah.
I know who you were. You are a child.
Yeah.
As how? Right? Like, how did you grow so much to be having children and, being married and all that? So, but in that age, so sometimes as a human being, that gets to me. I'm like, everybody is every Saturday.
It's a wedding.
Oh, I'm there. Everybody's tangling, right? But yeah, I mean, it gets to me sometimes, but I also try to be wise about that desire, because I cannot marry just anybody. The truth, I mean, that I like to believe is, if I want to be married by force, it is actually possible, right? To be married by force, to find somebody that is single and just looking for somebody to marry. But because I know my destiny, I know where I'm going, I know what God has called me to be, I know that that decision of a lifetime cannot be random. So even though there is pressure sometimes, I know that I have to, wait for the perfect time.
Yeah.
So that's it about pressure. Pressure is mostly from social media. That's
social media.
Fast from.
She actually does things fast from social media. Like, it goes away. I don't know how she does it, but yeah, we'll learn. And I like that you even you mentioned your sister. By the way, you have heard me talk about Steinka on this channel like 1 million times. Steinka is actually Balaji's elder sister, and you guys already know. If you've been following my channel, you already know my journey with her. I think me and Balaji's family members, because Dayemi, who is their second born, Balaji is like the fourth child. Dayemi, I've lived. She has hosted me when I was I lived with them for a while because I was homeless when I had a job on the island. Right? They've hosted me. And then I came to the US. See, I've benefited a lot from this friendship. It's not even a small something. Yeah, and I'm really so grateful that our path crossed. I don't know how God did it, because if we talk about our friendship journey, like our journey into being friends,
we should probably
do a video. I think me, you, and Christy.
And building healthy. Yeah, we should.
Because
we should try that.
Because this video, it will not be complete without Christy here. Because Christy is our check in this friendship. You guys will hear from Christy.
Holy Spirit.
Yeah, she's the assistant Holy Spirit in this friendship.
You people have not called me.
Oh my God! You guys will hear from Christy next week. But yeah, I've let the cat out of the bag. You guys should also look out for that video. But it has been really nice talking to you. Thank you so much for honoring us with your invite. You guys remember to check out her channel. She has not been consistent, but I've told her she's in she does not have excuse anymore. You are where there's internet, there's lights, there's everything. Oh, excuse anymore. Anyway, so because she really, if you check her channel, you know that she has a lot to offer. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining me on this channel, on this Unashamed Victoria Fast. Let me know if you guys have been enjoying the series so far. If you love this video, let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you want Balaji to come back? Because we have a lot of things we can talk about. I told you guys yesterday we talk more than 4 hours on phone. Like, we talk about everything, and it's always a joy, to have me and Christy, of course. And if you want Balaji to come back, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this conversation, let me know in the comment section below. If there's anything you related with or you'd like to share, let me also know in the comment section below. If you also want to be a part of this Unashamed Victoria Fast, you have a story you want to tell, you can reach out to me. All the ways you can contact me will be in the description box below, so click on that thing that says more below this video. Okay, so all right guys, thank you so much for joining me in this video. Remember to like, to share, to subscribe to this channel. Until we meet again, I still remain your favorite host, Victoria, and thank you so much, Balaji. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
All right guys, have a lovely week. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.